I personally could never trust a man. I absolutely not.
I used to feel the same. And I mean, I think every woman has that part of her. What woman would blindly trust a man? We have very different reproductive agendas to men, after all.
I've loved men and I've cared about men. And I've had, I care deeply about my ex-boyfriends and we're still friends. Like I've had love for men. I've never trusted a man. Ever. Even the men that I've loved in my past, I would not trust them.
So, your complete distrust of these men would have been silently sabotaging every past relationship you've ever had with a man. Think about it.
I've never met a man who was not driven by his lust.
Yeah, that's like a man saying, I've never met a woman who wasn't driven by ovulation.
If there's one theme that all of the men that I've ever known, whether I dated them or otherwise, there's one theme that they all had is that they are absolutely controlled by their lust. Which is why I would never marry a man and why I think if I am going to enter some kind of relationship with a man, I have to be getting some kind of, what's the word for it? Collateral.
Understandable. Every woman would instinctively want security in the form of collateral or something else. But often, security can come through many avenues, such as prenups, marriage, or the less popular avenues would be simply choosing a man who placed her in the one and only basket from the start, not the one of many basket. Because when you're in the one of many basket, there's never, ever going to be any security unless you manage to make that man marry you and make him promise you something in the event of divorce. Yes, ladies, there are forms of security that are invisible to other people and perhaps to you as well, such as true pair bonding, which is something that literally nobody talks about because, let's be honest, if you're in a Western country, these countries are in the process of dying. The culture is rotting, and more quickly than ever. And I know you may not want to hear this, but all the advice out there that comes from power struggles with men that encourages transactional relationships have always existed in humanity. But this advice is flooding women and men's minds, partly due to the fact that Western culture is in decline, and for decades now, forces much bigger than you and I have been slowly eating away at the bonds between men and women by creating division. And so, what's left now? Power struggles, transactions. But let me suggest to you, there is something more. Whether you choose to walk down that alternative path of, say, pair bonding with a man or not, is up to you.
Collateral. If you would like to date me, I need collateral. I need to look back on our relationship together and feel like I got something out of it for when and if you betray me and waste my time. And that is what I preach to you guys. So when people are like, oh, MJ, why is she giving relationship advice? She's not in a relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship. I sleep like a baby at night because I don't worry about some man running around and cheating on me.
Yeah, and I sleep like a baby at night because I have a big, strong man who is here to protect me. But each to their own, I guess.
I use men for what they're good for. And what they're good for depends on the man. But otherwise, no, not at all. Any man who says you should trust men as a woman is lying to you. The only man that you even have a chance at trusting is a man who will straight up look at you and say, men cannot be trusted.
Men say all sorts of things for their own reasons. Let's not start believing that all men who say men cannot be trusted are the ones that we should be trusting. Sometimes they're actually going to be the ones you should trust the least. Do you know why? Because they themselves know they're disloyal by nature. They themselves cannot keep it in their pants. Thus, they assume all men share their difficulties with self-control. Oh, also, most of these men would have never experienced a true pair bond. Most likely, only transactional relationships. Transactional relationships that lead to more jadedness within both parties.
They just can't. I preach what Shara 7 talks about.
I love Shira 7 for her humor, her personality, and her confidence. But I don't love her advice because her advice, like so much other advice out there on dating and relationships, comes from seeing relationships and men through the lens of power struggles and transactional relationships, not pair bonding. Yeah, call me delusional. Call me naive. Plenty of women have. And you know what? I was there in your position. I trusted nobody, let alone men. I was cheated on. My very own father is an avoidantly attached human who abandoned me as soon as I became of age, and now has abandoned my own mother, whom he married, in a nursing home, all in the name of peace. I have had no reason to trust any man that I've grown up with. The only man I've ever been able to trust is my own husband. You know why? Because he actually took the time to earn it, and two, because we pair bonded. We both fell in love mutually, and that became a resource that we both drew from. I'm not telling you that all men can be trusted. I'm just showing you that there's another perspective out there. It's up to you what you choose to believe. But just because you've never experienced being placed in the one and only basket by a man and have always been in the one of many baskets and are therefore constantly getting more jaded with men doesn't mean that you get to preach from this place of jadedness and pass this negativity onto all other women who, by the way, may have incredible capabilities of making men actually fall in love with them and not in lust with them. Because remember, ladies, most women can create the feeling of lust in a man. It's not hard, but very few women, especially in this day and age of all this dating advice that's perpetuating transactional relationships and power struggles, can inspire men to fall in love. And when you can, your experience of men is worlds apart from the experiences of those women who have only experienced transactional relationships with men. When a man falls in love with you, and not just in lust, your experience of life with him becomes infinite. It may not be perfect, but it's infinite. Because romantic love is itself a resource that a lot of women have never even felt before, and men. And you know what? It's supposed to be a resource. Why? Because throughout history, romantic love has been a core part of our neurology so that we can have the resourcefulness to bear and raise children. When you can make him fall in love, then it's not just about, can he provide for me? It becomes about, so this is what it's like to be truly loved and cared for. This is what it's like to have a man emotionally attuned to you and respond to you and your feelings. If you're curious about the 5 feminine secrets to have him fall in love with you and beg you to become his one and only, just go to reneeslinks.com.